Okay. You can see the slide, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Just to rehash on what we have already discussed, right? So we had discussed the salutations up to now, but besides that, we need to look at the subject line and then the body of the email, then complimentary close signature and attachment, right? Mostly up to seven, if not all the eight, at least till seven. So we'll be discussing on the subject line today, right? So subject line, in fact, is it's like a very important part of the email. I would say that that is one among the most important segment as far as the emails are concerned, right? Now, how does it work? Imagine subject line as a teaser of a movie, right? So what happens is usually before a movie gets released, right, you have something called a trailer or a teaser, as it is called. Uh, they release a teaser, and why do you think that kind of I mean, of course, it is done for a promotional purpose, but why do you think, or tell me two things, why do you think the trailers or teasers are released, and also tell me how does a trailer or a teaser of a movie work? What all elements do you see in that?
Trailers mostly released to attract people to watch that full movie, and its
Mhm.
main focus to tell the little bit about the what is the attraction part of that movie.
Okay, a little more. Besides, so all that you're telling me is that it's mostly the purpose of the teaser or the trailer is one among the many purposes is to promote your movie, right? To give you, basically also to announce, also give a declaration on the fact that there's a movie that's getting released, right? But what else do you see in the trailer? So when you watch a teaser or a trailer, what is it that you see? What all elements or what all um, parts or what all substances do you see in a teaser? Does it give you some idea about the plot of the movie?
Yes, ma'am.
It does, right? So it tells you few things, and I'm going to say that, right? So it tells you what the plot is, which means you can expect the core concept, right? What exactly is this about? In our terms, we call them the purpose, right? What is it, right? The plot is not entirely revealed. Every aspect of it is not told to you, but you get an idea of what the plot is about. You understand what genre this movie is, right? Is it a horror movie? Is it an action movie? Is it a thriller? Is it a mystery thriller? Is it a rom com? Is it horror comedy? You get an idea of what genre this movie belongs to, right? You get an idea of the plot. You also know what is the genre of the movie. You get other additional details like when is the movie, the date when you can expect it, right? Who has made the movie, right? Who's the director? Who all are the main characters? Who's starring, right? But all of these are preliminary details, right? This does not tell you, of course, what exactly it is about, but it gives you important essential details about what you can expect, right? This word is very important. It tells the audience what they can expect in terms of what happens in this movie when it gets released. Exactly the same way the subject line uh, of an email works. It doesn't tell you how, give doesn't give you all the important details required, right? Doesn't give you the whole of it to you. But what it does is it can tell you about what to expect. It tells the reader what is it that they can expect from that particular uh, email, right? Why is it important? Look at the second line here, right? It has the second point here. The first point is what I was talking to you about, right? The preview to the contents of an email gives you a preview, right? Direct impact on the open rate of an email. See, we are talking about professional emails, right? And these are sent to important people because the nature of information you have uh, is is essential. It's something that is purpose driven. So this is only sent to people who require to read it. It's not read to sent to everyone. And now these are also people who are going to tackle with at least 50 odd mails in a day, if not more, right? So they're going to be very conscious and they're going to be very careful about what emails they open and spend some time reading them, right? So open rate of an email means exactly what it says, right? Open rate. Do I open it or not? Will I open it and read it or not? So subject line decides whether somebody actually opens that email and makes an effort to read it. Which is why this is also the most important part in an email. This is the first thing that is presented to the reader as uh, you know um, as you receive an email, right? Now, the first thing that you see is obviously the subject line if it is there, right? A lot of people, they also do one thing. They really do not write a subject line. This is also considered a very unprofessional thing. In professional emails, every email, no matter how silly you think it is, you need to put in a subject line because of the reason that you work in a time and space constrained domain. And if you want people to actually open and read your email, you have to put in one to convey the purpose of the email to them, right? To let them know that this is an important email, right? So this is the first visible part of an email, and thus it can influence the reader's impression, which is why it is also something that is impactful or creates an impact on the open reader of an email. Okay, so this is the reason why subject lines are important. So never skip them in an email. Now, few more things about subject line. I'm going to give you some, understanding of what is considered an effective subject line and what is considered ineffective, right? But before that, I'm going to give you some general idea of what are some do's and don'ts that you need to be careful about while you compose a subject line. I have another question for you at this point, right? What do you think is a better way of approaching the subject line in terms of its chronological order, right? Should you write your email first and then write your subject line, or should you first write your subject line and then go ahead writing your email? What do you think is a
Sub-
better way to
Subject
approach it?
First
after that
subject, ma'am. After that, anything.
So everyone agrees that you first need to write the subject line and then go to the body of the email. Is that so?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, but it should be the other way around, right? That is how you can make sure that you have included all the details that necessary for a subject line, right? This works exactly like an essay, right? I don't know if you're aware of this, but when people write essays, whether they're reflective essays or academic essays, you're usually you're usually advised to write the introduction part and the conclusion part after you've written the body of the essay, right? Why do you think that could be the reason? Because see, in essence, both your introduction and your conclusion paragraphs are like summary paragraphs, right? In the introduction part also, you are actually giving people an idea of what they can expect in the body of the essay, and in the conclusion paragraph, again, you're summarizing everything that you have written, your main points, your arguments, and your findings, everything that goes into the summary comes as a summary in the conclusion paragraph, right? So it is ideal that you compose these two sections of your essay once you're done with the main part, the body part, right? One might be tempted to do it in an orderly. People might say that, in a chronological way, if you need to approach it, then probably first write your introduction, then your body, and then your conclusion. It only makes sense, right? But if you think about it logically, not just logically, if you also think about the functions that each of them perform, it makes more sense to write them at the end, right? That is what will help you to write a more wholesome introduction and conclusion than you going it in the chronological order, right? Same applies to your email, right? It's better you write your subject line a little later or at the end, because by that time, what do you have? You have the whole body of the email with you. You've written everything that you want in your body, and that will help you craft a concise, effective subject line, because you know now what are the things that you need to convey. So you can pick and choose from that. You can, look at your body, identify the key points that you think requires to go into your subject line, and then craft one. Okay, so that writing always, it's not something unlike what people think. It is not something that uh, happens in a sequential fashion, no? So first and then second and then third. Sometimes it goes a little haphazard also. You can, depending on so all I'm saying is the logic is not chronological. It can also be sometimes cyclical. Sometimes it can be off the order also. everything that you decide in terms of writing has to make sure that you give more clarity to what you're writing. And even in the case of an email, your subject line becomes it becomes clearer and becomes effective when composed after you write your body of the email. Okay, so that is the logic that we're trying to derive here. Okay, then but okay, well, now while I have said that, sometimes what happens, the purpose for which you're writing the email, no, it's a very common, it's like a very commonplace kind of thing, like for example, inviting somebody to a meeting, or something like request for a um, certain documents or something, they're very common, so they have like a set kind of a subject line that people use everywhere. That same subject line you will see for everything. If that is the kind of email that you're drafting, then yes, you can, because right? You have seen it now millions of times, and you know that there's nothing more that I need to add in here. But um, if you are dealing with an issue which is not very common, which is a little different than your usual traffic of emails that you see, then this probably is a better method to approach writing the email. Okay. Now, the do's and the don'ts. First, the don'ts. Do not use spam like subject line. So, what constitutes a spam like subject line? What makes a subject line look like a spam, or makes the mail look like a spam mail? One words. So, in your subject line, if you're writing, just say, for example, you need to invite someone to a conference that your organization or your academic institution is holding, right? Hosting. If you simply say conference, it's most likely that the email itself, that system itself, is going to treat it as a spam, right? And even if it is not marked as spam by the system, the reader might look at it as a mm, spam email. Why? Because conference is a very generic word. What conference? Where? What? Who? Right? Nothing of this sort. You're not giving them enough information to decide whether they should actually open and read that email or not. Right? It's like, for example, if your teaser, uh, just shows, how do I say, just tells you, doesn't give you any glimpse of the plot. It simply tells you this is the director, right? It looks mostly like that. So you're not going to bother with it anymore, right? So one word expressions in order to write a subject line may not be something that's recommended, and it can make it look like a spam email. Then, of course, spelling errors, grammatical errors, all of them are going to flag it as a spam thing. Emoticons, if you're using too many emoticons, then there are chances that instead of going into your main inbox, it may land up in some other promotional or other kind of categories. It might reach, but then we know that the open rate of emails that come to our promotional labels are not, their open rates are very, very low. I do not open, right? If you want to have an example of how these promotional emails work, I think you can simply go to, if you're people who order from Myntra or Amazon or Flipkart, or if you have subscriptions to certain online magazines, you know what this means, right? Particularly the e-business people, right? They have a habit of sending in, especially when say they're running deals, or they have something like a big billion sale, or the Great Indian Festival, something of that sort happening. They market it using all of this. But those things, people don't get angry about it, because of course, it's you who decide whether you want to open the promotional email or not. But when the professional email is in question, uh, this can create some kind of a friction with the reader, right? People would be like, why is this person being unprofessional? Why did he or she send in something that looks like a promotional email from a business firm, right? So emoticons, please avoid them. Do not use them when you're drafting professional emails. Exclamations serve the same purpose. They can also provide, an instance of spam. So do not do that. Capitalization. That is also, it's so important that it's also the second point here. Do not use all capital letters. Um, Again, a lot of people do this without actually understanding the meaning of this. Capitalization, particularly in the subject line, is a bit problematic. Some people use capitalization in the body of the email when they want to highlight or emphasize upon certain details. That is okay. But in the subject line, try and avoid using capital letters as much as possible. Now, there is a emotional value to using capitalization in subject line, right? So that is how at least corporate world perceives it, right? What is the problem here? When you capitalize everything that you want to convey in the subject line, it adds an unnecessary angry tone to it, right? It makes it more aggressive, makes it look like, someone's pushing you or forcing you to open it and read. This is a very psychological effect that, orthographic representation like capitalization can have on people, right? So then it is advised that in the subject line, particularly, avoid using any kind of capitalization. Okay. Then the third one is directly about the length of the subject lines, right? So how long can be my subject line, right? How long do you think the subject line should be? Should you try to keep it short, or can you keep it as lengthy as possible? And why? Why do you think that should be the case? Should it be long or short? Yeah, nobody? No one has
Short,
any
ma'am.
opinion on that?
Short,
Short.
short.
And why do you think that is the case? Why should you keep it short? Why cannot I keep it lengthy? If I want to include all the essential lines in it, just a moment.
It should be to the point so that people can able to understand just because of time.
It's not just about time. So, like I told you, right, the previous slide, we were talking about this. Look at this one. See, there are also some practical reasons for not doing that. Look at this one. Third one. It is often the first visible part of an email and can thus influence the reader's impression. The first half of that sentence, right? Often the first visible part of an email. Now we're talking about the quotient of visibility. What do you think if you will happen if you're going to write like a very lengthy uh, you know subject line? Will the reader be able to see it entirely? You open your emails and see. If you look at the email, you will see what happens after the first few, the 6 7 words or 10 words that you have. Can you see anything? It's always dot 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 to that. You seen that? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is also, so if you're talking about a laptop screen, again, this thing can happen with a lengthy subject line, say of more than 10, 11 words. If you're talking about a mobile screen, it's even more problematic, right? So the point here is that we're keeping it shorter for not just the reason that it needs to be a concise line and that subject lines are essentially supposed to be concise. The reason is also very practical, that if you're going to write a subject line that is too long, the person does not get to read it entirely. They some information may be lost on them, right? And that can in turn impact people's decision. Why should I open this and read, right? And this lengthy subject lines usually happen because you haven't been able to decide on what are the key elements of the email that you're writing. You haven't been able to identify the purpose exactly. You haven't been able to identify why or what are the key elements of or keywords in your email, right? This length usually becomes a problem because of this reason, because you haven't been able to identify the key purpose. Once you're done with that, it shouldn't be a case. Um, about the length of the email, try to keep it under 10 words, is what I would suggest, right? Whatever your purpose is, try to keep them within 10 words, right? Ideally 6 to 7 words. But if you require to write 1 or 2 words extra, make sure it doesn't go beyond 10. Okay, beyond 10, and it shouldn't be lesser than, say, 3 also, 3 or 4 words, right? Do not make it really short, like say 2 word and 3 word. Okay, 3 to 4 words should be okay. And do not go beyond 10 also, right? So keep it somewhere between, I would say, 3 to 7 ideally. If not, if you really need to put in those additional 2 3 words, then 10. 3 to 10, right? 3 to 7, 3 to 10 should be the uh, policy in general for professional emails, right? Other things I'm not discussing because they're anyway flouting most of the rules of email writing, so we don't have to bring in them. All of what I'm talking about is in connection with the professional emails. Okay. Now, These are the don'ts. Now, do's, how you can write some general guidelines on how you can write an effective subject line. The first one is take cue from newspaper headlines, right? If you read newspapers or for that matter, even online news, right? It's a good idea to read the headlines of the newspaper. The way the headlines of the newspapers are written, or even if it's a magazine, look at the titles of the essays, so on and so forth. Look at how they construct it, right? Uh, Watching them, observing them closely will give you an idea of how you can write an effective subject line, right? Or rather, to clip, if you have a tendency, if usually you are someone who has a tendency to write lengthy sentences, then it's a good idea to take a look at these titles, right? And make sure, also understand when I'm saying headlines of newspaper, there's another aspect to it. What is it? If you look at the newspaper headlines or the magazine headlines, you will see that never are these headlines a full sentence. They don't have to be a full sentence ever. So same applies to your subject line also. Your subject line is not a full sentence in English, right? They are a group of words. They have been organized into phrases to convey the most important part of the information that's presented. So it's never a full sentence. Keep that in mind, just like your newspaper headlines or magazine headlines. Okay, so second thing, know your end goal. So end goals here basically means purpose. What is your ultimate purpose for writing that email? So know your end goals well, front and center the most important information. So even in the case where you end up writing, say, 10 words for your subject line, because you cannot avoid some of those words, even in that case, ensure that you front and center the most important information. First, figure out what is the most important. So that is the know your end goals. Know the thing that is most important, the most important end goal or the purpose, and then front and center it. Okay, front and center it. Front and center means write them first, or at least keep them in the middle of your subject line, right? Either make it the first part or at least make it the second part of the subject line. Do not push it towards the end of the subject line. Reason again same. Practically, it can become invisible when someone tries to, see it in a mobile screen, right? That can happen. So make sure that you front and center the most important piece of information. Do not push it towards the end. Fourth one is something that you should do only sparingly. Do it only if it is required, if you think that it is going to do something in your favor, which is personalization, right? This is a very rare phenomena. Usually, personalization is not something that is recommended in professional emails. Personalization here intends it doesn't mean that you add your elements to it. Personalization here means adding your erstwhile connections with the sender, right? So, say for example, you are sending an email for an internship, to bag an internship to a college senior who is now, say, a CEO or maybe an HR manager somewhere. So, if you feel like um, putting in that word that you are an alumni from the same college that the person graduated, if you think that is going to push your cause, and this cannot be like a simple thing, right? You cannot simply write to somebody saying, I'm from your college, so I think you should consider me for this. You can use it only if there has been some kind of familiarity between you and the receiver at some point. Say, for example, they had visited your college for an event, right? Your college invited them to an event, and say you have showcased some skills of yours in front of that person. So this is just to reach it, just to remind them that something like this, because they're busy people, they probably won't. So it is just to remind them how you have already showcased your skills and talents to them, right? These are meant for that kind of special occasions. So just because you went to the same college as them doesn't mean that you can write it there. That's not what is meant by personalization. Personalization basically means to remind people of an important detail, an important personal detail like an erstwhile meeting or something with them on which was related to your skills and talents or your eligibility for the internship or a job, right? Otherwise, do not use it unnecessarily. That again is considered unprofessional, right? Um, okay. So, any questions here, or can we move ahead? Nothing, right? It's pretty straightforward. I do not think you need to worry too much about what has been discussed. Okay, now we're going to talk about the actual thing that I should be doing today, which is telling you how effective subject lines work. So on your slide, you have some examples based on the do's and don'ts that we just discussed to show you what ineffective subject line means. Okay. Can you take a look at them? Can you read through all the three examples here? Take a minute and read it.
Ma'am,
Yes. Yes, Sumit?
ma'am, we can also use these subject lines in our LinkedIn post. Like I have seen these example in a LinkedIn post
Hmm.
frequently.
Hmm.
So I know they are not
Okay.
much very effective. So how what we can do apart from these?
Sorry, did not understand. What is that? Come
Ma'am,
again?
I have seen these
Hmm.
subject
Hmm.
lines in LinkedIn
Yeah, yeah.
post also.
Uh-huh.
So what we can use in the alternatives?
I'll show you. I'll show you. I at this moment I just want to show you examples of what is considered an ineffective subject line. I do not wish to go into the social media writing thing, but I will definitely talk to you about what makes these ineffective ones more effective in the context of the emails. Okay, that I can try.
Okay, ma'am.
Um, yeah, but look at this one. So you agree that these are ineffective, right? Because
Yes,
the
ma'am.
yeah. Uh, the first one, register right now. This why is it a problem? I think we already discussed this. This makes your announcement a bit pushy, right? It looks like you're almost forcing the person to register, right? Register right now. There's nothing wrong with the utilization of the language itself, but then the problem is also very symbolic. So both the language as well as the symbolic representation of it is creating a problem, right? Um, it looks like someone's actually unnecessarily forcing you, right, to do something right there, right? And people do not like it. Human beings are they everyone likes to decide what they want to do. People don't like being told what they should be doing, right, unless asked for. That's usually how psychology works for humans. So the problem with capitalization is exactly that. It creates an impression that someone's trying to be aggressive, right? Someone's trying to push you. Just do it right now. So it also creates an impression that they're not giving you enough time to think through, right? It's creating a sense of urgency or some kind of force, right? Even if it is a soft force. So that's the problem with capitalization, right? So look at how even a representation of something in writing in orthographic terms creates problems, right? Second thing, multiple exclamation marks has almost the similar effects. Hurry up. Okay, why should I hurry up? Right? No other details that can actually make me help me make an informed choice or a decision is communicated. It just simply tells me hurry up. Why should I hurry up? Right? What's the hurry? So this looks like this is brute business, right? So you're not giving me exactly the details of what I should be looking at, but you're simply telling me this only means business for you. This only means money for you. That's the impression that you create with the customer base when you put out a message like this, right? Third is again, we do not have any exclamations, we do not have any capitalization. The symbolic stuff is gone now. But what we have is representation of aggression through language. It is now or never. Grab this golden opportunity right away. Okay, this is purely working on linguistic terms, but this is aggressive promotion, right? If you want to promote, there are better ways to do that. You can actually provide in good details, and by details I don't mean give every bit of details, but details enough for someone to make the decision, right? This one doesn't do that. This one again is pushy in nature. It is telling you just do it. Oh, we don't have any other information right now. You first take it and then we'll talk to you, and that we'll talk to you part never comes also. With a lot of business ventures this happened. So aggressive promotional language, which will also include capitalization and multiple exclamation marks, all of them in sense they're trying to do that only, right? promote something aggressively, right? That's the point. Now, how do you
Ma'am,
change this? Yeah, yeah, tell me.
ma'am, in medical certificate that we got mail for that, and that they're using capital in extension. So it's also a forcefully
Which
example
one?
of
Sorry, come
forcefully.
again. I did not hear you well.
That email that we got na about medical certificate submission. In there, it is written in capital
Ah,
extension. So it is example of
if it was
forcefulness.
in the in the subject line.
Yes, ma'am. In the headline, there's it's written extension in capital.
Ah,
So it's
uh-huh,
example of
uh-huh.
forcefulness.
Um, Okay, so if it is a promotional email, then this would be considered a very forceful way to do that. If it is not a promotional email, then not, right? Then it is an actually urgent thing, right? If they are asking you to submit something, and if there's a, and particularly if it's an extension, which means you have already not complied to the dates that were mentioned, and now they're giving you an extension date. Isn't that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So in such cases, they use capitalization to add emphasis. That is okay. So the purpose is all right. It's not actually they're not trying to be aggressive with you. They're only trying to give you an emphasis. But that's not the case with promotional emails. In promotional emails, when you use it, it is everything that we discuss, right? The language is more aggressive. It's because they do not want to give you the time to think, right? It's force in that case, not in the second case that you mentioned. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
But even I'm still of the opinion that even if that is the case, even if it is to add emphasis, they did what they did. They probably had this reason that I mentioned to add emphasis. But if I'm the one writing it, I will not use capital letter, even if that is the case, right? Because you don't have to add unnecessary emphasis. The word extension itself conveys the details to people, right? I don't think capitalizing it is going to make any difference. But yeah, I mean, people maybe the ones who wrote it did not know that, so they thought it is okay. See, this happens like a lot many people, even the ones who are now seasoned writers who have been writing like many emails by now. A lot of people do not realize this fact that capitalization is actually a bad thing in professional email. Okay, no matter what your message was, unless it is in the body of the email where you're trying to add emphasis, I don't think you actually need to do anything, any capitalization for subject line. So do not do it. My advice is do not do it. Okay?
Ma'am, they use highlighter also, a yellow color in highlight also
They
with
highlighted it
extension the
also.
highlight. Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. You shouldn't be doing any of those things. It's absolutely unnecessary. Required. Okay. Uh, all right. So yeah. So now look at the examples of the effective subject line. How do you make it effective, right? Of course, short. You need to keep it short, right? Um, then second one, ask open-ended questions. I wanted to read all the examples before I discuss with you. Please go through this. Read the examples. The situation is similar. Announcement of a new course, like in the previous case. Now we are trying to see how you can write an effective subject line. If the other three were not effective, then what makes these effective is what we are going to look at. Please read them. Have you finished reading it? I'll go to the next slide. I think there are more examples in the next slide. Can I change the slide?
I mean, second example, it's example of open-ended question, right?
Yes, yes, that's right.
What what do you mean by this?
Yeah, yeah, we'll come to that. First, finish reading the examples. We're going to discuss it only after that. Are you done reading the examples?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, look at this one. Okay. Announcement of a new academic program, subject like exam. Like, yeah, all right. So we had at least 5 different ways in which we could improve, writing the subject line, how to make it effective. At least there are 5 different ways available to us. The first one I don't think requires a discussion because it's a default. Whenever you're trying to write an effective subject line, make sure that you keep it short, right? As much as possible, try to keep it short. We'll discuss the second one, right? Ask open-ended questions. Now, why is this called an open-ended question, right? How unique is machine learning at the IIT? How does the IIT teach machine learning? Why do we call this an open-ended question? Why is it considered an open-ended question? See, an open-ended question is something which may not have a definitive answer, right? Somebody, every people, it's open to discussion. Anything that is open-ended means that it is a matter or it is a subject that is open to discussion, right? Or something that you cannot, have a definitive answer for right away, right? So if somebody asks you a question, how unique is machine learning at the IIT? Can you give a definitive answer for that? Can you have a concrete answer for that? Unless you have actually taken the course and you have some details of it. Is it possible? Yeah, can you give an answer? Is it possible to give an answer to both the questions? In fact, how does the IIT teach machine learning? Do you have an immediate answer for that?
No, ma'am.
No. What do you have to do to answer that question? You might have to take that course, right? You will have to end up taking that course, or you will have to, at least if it is something that is, have already been offered. The situation is different. This is announcement of a new course, which is why these questions are used, right? If it is offered for the second time, then they'll use a different kind of subject line for it, or third or fourth time, whatever. But this is a new course. So this is not something, the answer is not immediately available to anybody because nobody has taken. People will have to actually attend the classes, take it and then decide on how it was unique or how does the IIT teach a certain course, so on and so forth. Yeah, is that right or not? Which is why this is called an open-ended question, right? There's no definitive answer. You cannot find the answer immediately. You might have to maneuver around. You might have to actually delve into that particular uh, domain or that course in order to understand or to know how to answer that question, right? And open-ended also because people can have multiple opinions about it, right? Some might think it is amazing, some might think that oh, it was not up to the mark, so on and so forth. But for whatever your answers are, you will have to actually sit through it. Otherwise, you cannot, right? So that's the reason open-ended questions are usually used for promotional purposes. That sort of raises the curiosity people to find out, oh, is there actually anything unique about it? Is it actually different from anything else? And how do they do that? To know to get answers to those questions, it might uh, you know push people in a nice way to attend that course. Okay, it doesn't force, but it's an actual curiosity that is leading them to actually register for it. So this is promotional. The language is promotional, but it's not aggressive like the previous one. Grab this opportunity and all of those things. I will register right away, right? So there's a departure from being aggressive about it to being more gentle and being something which can raise curiosity, can instill curiosity rather than use force and power. Is that understood? That's why it's called open ended, and that's why it's also effective. You get it?
Ye- Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now the third one, guys, just give me a moment. I'm sorry. Do you hear a lot of background noise?
Little bit, ma'am.
But it's not disturbing. You can still hear me well, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. It's just a bunch of people talking. There's nothing that I can do about it. Cannot ask them to keep quiet. Okay. Anyway, so the third one, please take a look at the third category that we are using. So include the deadline and the subject line. So look at each of the examples that you have there. Machine learning course by NPTEL registered by 20th August. New course alert, last date 20th August. Announcement of blockchain technology course, register today. Right? All three of them, what do? There's an inclusion of a deadline. So this is another way of, uh, you know, letting people know that this something, some matter is urgent or that they need to look at it immediately, than telling, do it right away or grab this opportunity or, any other aggressive forms. This is a lesser forceful way, a better way, an effective way to tell people that they should be a little more careful about the deadline. So you directly mention the deadline, right? Even if you do not, you put it in a way that is uh, not aggressive, right? Like look at the last one. We do not actually mention the date, but then probably it's because that particular day is the last day, so register today, right? Or even if it is not the last day, you're still saying that when you say register today, you're trying to indicate that there's no much time left, right? So all these three different methods are a better way to create or to communicate a sense of urgency to the reader, rather than pushing them to do something, rather than being aggressive, right? Okay. Then the second situation, virtual academic program launch. Now you're launching something, a virtual academic program. So another way of making your subject line effective is also include a phrase or two that communicates command or call for action, right? So why? Now you're directly communicating the purpose. You're basically telling them that this is important for them, right? They need to work on this. So command or call for action, what is it here? Join us at the IITM online BSc degree flagship event. So you're basically telling them, this is an invitation basically, but you're making that invitation more gentle and polite, right? You're not saying come, you have to attend or anything like that. No force again. It is an invitation, but you're creating this or you're composing it in such a manner that it automatically calls for an action at the part of the reader, but in a very gentle way. It's a call for action, but in a gentle way. Join us, right? It's like it's a warm invitation, right? Although this is something that's important and it's ideally required for everyone to do, at least the stakeholders of the program, say someone who's a course instructor, someone who's a manager, or someone who's a part of one team or the other in that degree program. They're not saying that, oh, just because you work here, all of you please come because you work here, right? It's not force. It's saying join, right? Join us. It's a call for action, but in a more gentle way. Then the last one, adding something that is valuable, right? Add something that is more valuable to the subject line. So build your career with IIT Madras. Now IIT Madras is a brand, right? Similarly, if you have been able to build a brand for yourself, or even if it is not about a brand, if it is, or say something, it is not something as big as a brand. It's still something that's developing, right? It's only uh, gaining some visibility. You include something that you include that part or that element that you think is the most uh, the best of the value addition that you have for your product or for the service that you're providing into the subject line, so that that value, that added value element becomes the catch point for people to read your name, to promote your work, right? In this case, you have something like, IIT Madras, which is a brand by itself. So if when IIT or the NPTEL tries to announce a course, they make sure that they add this brand into it, right? Because they know that could be an attractive part for a lot of people to maybe participate in the course or participate in the event that they're trying to promote. Okay, so five different ways. These are five different ways that you can use to make your work more promotional, but keep it gentle rather than the aggressive fashion that we've already looked at in the ineffective subject lines. Right. Once again, all the five of them, short subject lines. Try to convert it into an open-ended question. Include the deadline if it is if the sense of urgency is what you want to convey. Use a command or call for action if you have intended to write to an audience whose participation you wish to have, and then add something more valuable to the subject line if you are trying to again promote something, sell something to people. Okay, so these are 5 effective ways that you can transform your subject line in an email. Okay, yeah. Any questions before we go to the exercise? But I'm not going to take up the exercise immediately. Before that, I would like you to run through the other sections of the email writing as well, because we don't have anything much to learn there. I just want to show you certain set phrases that are used in the other parts. But is the subject line part understood? Have you understood how this works?
Yes, ma'am.
So let me then just, before we move to the exercise part, I want you to take you through the other parts quickly. So body of the email, uh, just again, this is what we are discussing, right? Body of the email. So begins with the purpose line, the details, the closing remarks, these three. So which means the body of your email is going to have at least 3 sentences, right? Or if possible, you should try to keep them all within the 3 sentences. That's the point. Okay. So have a purpose line, have a line which uh, highlights your details, then the closing remarks, right? How does it work? We're going to look at each one of them separately. So the purpose statement, what does it do? It the function of a purpose statement, as the name mentioned, is to convey uh, the actual purpose of the email that you're writing, right? Why you're writing this question has to be addressed the very first in your body of the email. Tell the person immediately what you're writing them. What are you writing about, or why you are writing to them. That should be the first and foremost line in any professional email. You don't have to write about, any, you don't have to exchange any pleasantries. I have evaluated a lot of emails that have come from, I think, in this degree program itself, where people would be like, I hope you're doing fine, how are you, I hope this email finds you well. Those kind of exchange of pleasantries are not at all required in professional email. Immediately get into the purpose, right? So the very first line you write after the salutation in the body of the email must be the purpose line. Tell them immediately why you're writing to them. Okay. So that is how the purpose statement works, and that's the first sentence you write. Um, Additionally, what do purpose statement do? So of course, it talks about the purpose of your email, but the purpose of the email is also, a sentence that tells the reader about the attitude of the writer. It sets the tone and attitude of the message as well as the writer, along with telling them what the important, or along with telling them what the purpose is, right? So which means when you read the purpose line of an email, whether the message concerned, right, whether the message of the email concerned is, is it an urgent thing, right? Is this written um, to fulfill something that's an urgent requirement? Is it a request for something? Is it a complaint email? Is it something that is trying to address a grievance at hand? Is it a gratitude? Gratitude as in, is it a thank you email, right, for something that you've done? So this purpose statement, along with telling the person what the purpose of the email, also conveys the tone and the attitude and the message of the message, right? Uh, the message of urgency, message of request, message of inquiry, message of complaint, grievance, gratitude. The tone and attitude is also conveyed through the purpose statement. Or if I have to put the other way, the purpose statement must convey the tone and attitude of the message, right? So people know, they have a clearer idea of what this is being written for. Okay, that's your purpose statement. So on your screen are examples of some, I think, what is considered a set phrase for some of the most commonly used purpose statements. Could you please run through them, see them? So, purpose, on your left hand side, you have the most commonly written purposes of an email, professional email, right? Making reference, giving the reason for writing, giving good news, giving bad news, making a request, offering assistance, enclosing something, referring to future contact, right? Look at those set phrases. So if you are a beginner, if you're not a seasoned writer, for example, and you're confused on how to begin an email, right? Uh, then, okay, yeah, sorry. Uh, you can use this as a sample um, phrases, right? All of them can serve as sample phrases for someone who's only beginning to look at it, right? You do not want to take a risk. You want to write as accurately as possible. You would use some of these phrases for the purposes indicated on the left hand side, right? Making reference with reference to your, this is letter, but you can also change it to email, okay? With reference to your email of, or with reference to your email dated, right? You can write that. Then reasons for writing, I'm writing to, usually the most common phrase that you use as to begin a purpose statement is, I am writing to request, I'm writing to invite, I'm writing to bring to your notice, I'm writing to raise a complaint, all begins like this. Usually purpose statements begin like this, giving the reason for writing, then giving good news, bad news. I or we am are pleased to, I or we regret to inform you that, right? These are all set phrases, very commonly found in professional. Making a request, I would be grateful if you could, right? Offering assistance, if your purpose to write that email is just to, offer some kind of assistance to the person. If you require, or to keep it more formal, the thing that we discussed yesterday, should you require, right? If you will change to should you, if it is more formal, lesser formal versions, if you require any further information. Okay, so this is one part of it. Then body of the email, the details. So second sentence, right? After the purpose statement comes the detail statement. The detail statements are usually, something that you write to build the context or premise to the purpose, right? So you have written the purpose. Obviously, for the person to take some action on that or to act upon it, they might need a little bit more information. So that information is provided by the second sentence, which is called the detail sentence, right? So what do they include? They uh, can include the names of, so for example, if it is an invitation to a conference or some kind of a talk or something, then it will include the names of the guests, speakers, or the dignitaries. It will also tell them about the designations of the people involved. Or in any other kind of emails, this can also additionally give, say, for example, something like a meeting that is being organized. It tells you the date, time, name of the venue, the name of the organization, or who is a part of the organizing committee, or which project or conference is being addressed about, okay? And all other necessary details which serves the purpose of the given email is provided in the details statement. Okay, it's a very ordinary thing. I don't think we need too much of discussion on that. I'm discussing it because I want to take you through that, structure of the email. So now we're talking with the body of the email, purpose statement, first sentence, second statement details, and the last line usually is the closing remarks. Closing remarks, remember, is a courtesy statement, right? This works very similar to your real life scenario, right? You visited, say, a friend's place or a relative's place. You don't simply get up and leave from there, right? So when you go in, you greet them, which is your salutation in the email. When you leave their place, again you say goodbyes, right? So this closing remarks of the body of the email, which is the last line in a professional email, is very similar in function to those goodbyes, right? It's a courtesy statement wherein you officially close that email, so that you don't end up abruptly doing it, right? It's very similar to you simply getting up and leaving the place without telling them anything, right? So closing remarks is a courtesy statement to avoid this kind of abruptness in your writing, right? To abruptness means, when you end your writing just like that without giving any clue to the reader that you're actually going to end it. So it's a courtesy statement. So it adds politeness factors to your email. It leaves a good impression with the reader, right? And it also makes sure that the receiver of the email is in loop with you, and and it motivates them to take some action. Basically, it leaves some some good impression on the reader, right? Doesn't look like you're an impolite person who just left things abruptly and left, right? So closing remarks serve that courtesy purpose in the emails. Some useful phrases or some examples, more importantly, of closing remarks are the ones that you see on the screen. Could you please run through it? There are, I think, four categories of them, if I'm not wrong. I want you to take a look at all of them. Just read through. And particularly this, expressions I look forward to, because a lot of people make mistakes in writing them. Please run through it. Take a minute and read through the slide. I'll change the slide in a minute.
Ma'am, I am looking forward to see you soon. Does that sound like some uh, informal?
No, you don't say, yes, that's a wrong expression. You don't say, I am looking forward to. Your grammatically right formulation is, I look forward to. Okay, not I am looking forward to. Because see, looking forward is a state serial verb. So you do not have continuous forms for that kind of verb. That's a wrong grammatical construction. So it has to be, I look forward to hearing, I look forward to meeting, I look forward to seeing you soon, right? Not seeing with you soon. The other two, I look forward to meeting will have a with, I look forward to meeting with you, I look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to seeing you. Okay, not I am looking forward. That's, please do not use that. That's a wrong expression.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, then I would appreciate your immediate attention. So these are all, other possible phrases that you could use for closing remarks, the last statement of your professional email. When you want to make your courtesy statement sound like something that is based on a future time focus, when you want to continue uh, the discussion, or even if you're not planning to actually continue, you simply tell them, see, it's more like see you again. That's all. Okay. Then comes the second one, expressions, gratitude. Sometimes your courtesy statement can end with a gratitude courtesy. So, some examples of them here. I thank you for your help, or I thank you for your time, assistance, support. These days, you also see very commonly, thank you for your time and consideration. Okay, that is also very commonly seen these days. You can use that as well. Okay, so I really appreciate the help. I really appreciate the time, assistance, support you have provided me. Then I thank you once again for your help. Uh, Sometimes you will see words like guidance also, right? Replace. So I'm not going to give you every bit of thing here. I'm just trying to show you some examples of how this can be done. Of course, you can make changes based on your requirements and based on your language skills. It's, of course, everyone is open to do that. Uh, then expressions, the third kind, call for action, right? Call for action expressions would be mostly of this kind. I'm not, so none of this is an exhaustive list. Please keep in mind, I have only come up with a few examples to show you how this works, right? So call for action examples. Please call me to set a time for the meeting. Would you make an appointment with the manager for tomorrow? Please find the code number for the file at the earliest. I hope you would take an action as early as possible. So these are call for action courtesy statements because the receiver of this particular email, probably the sender expect them to act on something, right? The other cases, they were gratitude cases and courtesies related to future time meeting and other things, but this is more important. This usually happens when you're sending an internal email, or an email within your organization, because you expect the other person to take some action it. And so usually your emails end with a statement, a courtesy statement that is indicative of a requirement for the receiver to take an action or act upon what is being said. And to make your life and their life easier, the action itself is encoded in the courtesy line. No, so they are directly told what they are required to do as the final sentence in the email. So that is what these examples are indicative of. Okay. Then this one, offering assistance. There are several ways of doing it, and you have examples of them here. Please take a look at it. If I can be of assistance, please do not hesitate to contact me. If you require any further information, feel free to contact me. Let me know. The second one, the same thing with let me know. Please feel free to contact or write to me if you need any further information or clarifications or assistance. Please do not hesitate to contact or write to me if you need any further information, clarifications, or assistance. Please let me know if you have any questions. I hope the above is useful to you. Should you need or require any further information, please do not hesitate to contact me. Please contact me if there are any problems. Let me know if you need anything else. Drop me a line if I can do anything else for you. So, the last few of them, I want you to pay a little bit of attention to. So, the most formal version, very formal version of offering assistance and a closing courtesy line is which one? Should you need? Right? Should you need or should you require any further? The same thing, if it is written in an email that is more like a semi-formal, right? Semi-formal would usually be something that is written amongst, employees or people who know each other, right? And who are familiar with each other. So let me know if you need anything else, semi-formal version. And even the last one that you have as an example here, that's also semi-formal. So either of the two, right? The last and the last but one can be used in semi-formal emails. But if it's a very formal email wherein you don't know the person, familiarity is low, person is also above you in the hierarchy, very formal version, should you need, require any further. Okay, everything else that you see in the list, they can be either used in formal situations or less formal situations. Okay, everything else in the list they can oscillate between formal and less formal versions. But most formal version would be should you need or require. Semi-formal versions are the last two. Okay, right. Any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, go
Ma'am,
ahead.
in the last slide, the last fourth is only very formal is word. Yeah, last fourth.
Which one?
Should you need require any further information? Very formal.
Yeah, only in very formal circumstances. Okay. You write should you need only when the situation at hand is very formal, right?
And
Very
ma'am,
high on formality levels. Yeah.
uh, any more lines for the very formal?
No, no. Usually this should suffice. This is enough for you. This is the standard phrase, standard sentence that you use for very
Except
formal
this,
versions.
there is no anything.
You can see. I am showing you. That's what I told you. I'm showing you set expressions. I cannot, of course, show you everything that is possible. That
Okay,
depends
ma'am.
on the
Okay.
writer, right? If you
Mind.
know, if you can use the language with some skills, of course, I'm sure you can come up with new versions of this. People do use them also, but I cannot give you an exhaustive list of that. I'm showing you the ones that are more commonly and used as set expressions. That's the point. Okay.
Got it, ma'am.
Right. Now, ending emails, same thing. We looked at them in the beginning to see salutations. The ending of the emails, this is not body of the email. So, body of the email includes purpose statement, detail statement, and this last thing that we're looking at, right? The closing remarks. After closing remarks, you have, sorry, the complementary close. Okay. Guys, just a moment. Give me a moment. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. So, in the last part of this, right, ending emails, this part is called as the complementary close, right, wherein you are signing off, just like in the salutation part. So, the more formal varieties would be the one that you see towards your left hand side, right? You could say either best regards, you can say yours sincerely, sincerely. These are the more commonly used expression in signing off professional emails that are more formal in nature. Semi-formal, a little less formal, you could use regards, best wishes, all the best. Usually regards, best wishes, all the best comes in, or it usually happens between people who have some levels of familiarity, right? And are also at the same levels. But if you're writing to someone again who's higher in the hierarchy, who's someone you do not know well, usually the first three are preferred, right? Best regards, yours sincerely or simply sincerely. Well, the three words. But please do not write things like yours faithfully, yours obediently. They're very archaic now. Important to write those things, right? It has um, it has some flavors of a bit of a feudal mindset. So you don't have to write obediently, faithfully. It's not about you being faithful or obedient. It's courtesy. So keep it as more as a courtesy. You do not have to. Uh, you don't have to look so meek and be humble, but you don't have to be meek about it, right? That's not required. So use sincerely or sincerely best regards. That's best considered the formal version. A little less formal, you have some kind of familiarity with the writer. It's at the same level in your organizations, but still you want to keep it formal in nature. You use regards, best wishes, all the best. Same level in the organization, super familiar. You know each other very well. You do not really have to bother with being formal with them. Best and yours. Or sometimes people don't even leave a complementary clause. They simply leave it as right. So all of those, the last two, and not actually writing a complementary clause, all belong to the less formal or the informal versions of complementary clause. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, this one we don't need now. So yeah, this is what is about the structure of the email that we have discussed, the context. So I'm not talking about the signature and attachment because I spoke with you already about it. Signature is basically writing your name and your designation and the address with contact. Sometimes also with the social media link if you wish to leave it, right? But in professional emails, remember the signature part is also very, very important. It doesn't stop with the complementary clause. A signature is very, very important. You need to write your name, your designation, the organization that you belong to, the address of the organization, including the contact information, right? Because you are the one responsible for sending in information. So you need to put in your signature. And this is a one-time affair. You can save it in the Gmail accounts, right? So every time you send an email, it is auto-generated. It becomes a part of your email. It's a grained signature. But please include it. Do not leave it. Do not just leave your uh, signature just like that. Okay. All right. Any questions now? I think my speaker has switched off. I might have to strain a bit to listen to you, but I'll try. Just give me a moment. I'll increase the volume. Can you hear me well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. But your sounds are now coming off my laptop speakers. Uh, just give me a minute. Let me try to see if I can actually join this thing using my mobile phone.
Hello.
Just a minute.
Hello.
Just a minute, just a minute. Okay, tell me. I think you can hear me better this way than.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah. Tell me.
in the last session,
Ah,
you said that, ma'am, I will show the some inbox and templates of the mails. So please can.
templates of the mail. No, that's not what I meant. What I meant to say is that I can show you the, some of the emails which is used. Um,
Yes, ma'am. I
the
meant.
mail which was sent to multiple people and in which the hierarchies were separated with people being mentioned separately. So,
Mm.
well, I looked through the contents, but unfortunately, I don't didn't find anything which I can show it as an email. But I did find some emails where this has happened, and they were exactly similar to what I showed you yesterday, right? So the name of the director, followed by members of faculty, followed by students. I cannot show you the email because of the contents of the email. I tried to sift through some of them yesterday, but uh, there wasn't anything with email which I could show in its entirety, which is why I did not take it up. But I don't think it should be a problem. I think you can understand. I think I was clear enough yesterday. But what question did you have? Anything that you've not understood of why should you do it or how should you do it? Any questions on the why and how? Or you
No,
were
ma'am.
just looking
Just,
for
just,
examples?
just for a sample.
Or just for a sample? No, I don't think I can use anything from my inbox. Let
Okay,
me.
ma'am. No, not a problem.
I do not have anything on my end right now. None of the emails that I had were suitable for public viewing. Okay, I'll do one thing. If I'm able to find any, then when you get the materials for this, no, I'll try to attach one slide with those examples, some screenshots or something, if it's possible. Okay. All right. Any other questions? If not, we are going to continue doing our activity from yesterday. I'll send in the link in some time. Just a moment. But anything? Any questions that you have on the 2 days of content that we did? We have about 40-45 minutes now, so there's good enough time for you to um, work on the questions. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, please ask me about what we discussed in the 2 days. So I've left the link to the session in the chat. Please join the session using that, uh, the peer deck file, which has the questions for you to answer. Please take a look at it. Any questions that you have? Any confusions that you've had about anything that we discussed? Please go to question number 4. That is where I think you have to start doing today. Uh, we did all the first three we did yesterday. So fourth question, this is for you to compose effective subject line. And I think we have A, B, C, D, 4 questions. Okay, 4 questions here. Please work on that. Take maybe 5 to 8 minutes. I don't think you should need more than that. So when you're reading those emails to write the subject line, uh, make a note of what are the key points there. and then decide what should go into an effective subject line. So first identify the purpose, right? Read the email and look at what the purpose is after reading that. Then identify some keywords and then compose your subject line. Okay. And keep it short. You have that space for writing, right? In the deck file. Do you have the space to write down your answers or not?
Then
Yes,
we
right?
are having a connection
Yes,
issue.
ma'am.
There is a connection issue.
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all
Okay,
right by
okay,
your side.
okay. All
Okay,
right. Yeah.
I will
Please
check.
write it down. Please write it down. I'll take a look at it, but we'll also discuss. So this is 5:18 now on my system. We'll discuss by 5:25. Okay. Also, tell me one thing. Are you able to move from one question to the other? Just so that I know. It is in the practice mode, but then I just want to know if you're able to move across the questions. Please see if you're able to do that. Just so that I know if I need to change my page for you to access the question.
No, ma'am. Not able to change the slide.
You are
It's
not a,
only
no, no,
question number 4.
only question number 4. Okay, why is it so? Okay, continue working. Let me try to change the setting and control.
Okay, ma'am.
It is in the student paste mode. Ideally, you should be able to move between the questions. I do not know why. Um, has the question changed for you now?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So I think there's something wrong with the session. Anyway, I will change your screen in every 2 minutes. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
इतना जरूरी है जी
Hello, excuse me, ma'am. Hello,
Yes, tell me, tell me.
ma'am. I was writing the answer, but the suddenly slide
Yeah,
was
that's why I
changed.
told you 2 minutes. Okay. I'll change it. Just take another minute and finish.
May I answer the
Yeah.
question orally, ma'am?
Sorry?
May I answer the question orally? Because in the typing it's taking too
Which question
time.
are you talking about?
About fourth.
Fourth one. If you're able to
Yeah,
access it, that's what I asked you. Can you move between the pages? You told me no. If you're able to move, please go to the next question. I am changing it because I thought it's not changing. The questions are not changing for you without I changing
but
the page.
ma'am, in our Windows, it's also changing.
Can you move without me changing the page? Is my question. You cannot, right? Can you go to the next question without me changing it?
Okay, ma'am, completed it.
No, please, someone else confirm. Are you able to go to the next question without I changing the page? Are you able to do it on your own?
No, ma'am.
No. Yeah, that's the question. So I'll give you a maximum of 3 minutes to do each of this because otherwise we cannot go to the other questions. Try to keep the time. If you have not done, it's all right. Go to the next thing. I mean,
Ma'am,
I'll change the pages.
I've submitted the answer. Please check my answer.
Mm, why it is not happening? Firstly, announced to the device. Slides and streaming will not affect the projector or student displays. Bring to see. We'll change. We'll go to the next question. Please read this question carefully. Okay. Identifying the purpose is a little tricky here. Please read it properly. Okay, you done? Can we move to the next one, the last one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How is it going? Have you finished or should we wait more? Yes. I don't think as of now there's any response because it shows me no responses. Anybody working on it or one of two responses?
Ma'am,
Okay.
I did work on question number fourth ABC options.
Haha. Not this is right now you have D on them, right? Have you finished writing for question number D?
No, ma'am, I was still writing.
Okay. Okay. Just one more minute and we can discuss.
But
Okay.
ma'am, I did answer
Sorry? What is it?
ABC options.
No, no, that's okay. Work on the current one. We'll discuss them later.
Option D.
Huh.
Okay, ma'am.
Someone has sent a message. I have tried rechecking connection, still not able to do it. I do not know. I think the other I think other people, please recheck if you're not able to join because it's not password protected. I do not think so. Not think so. I mean, I know it's not password protected. If you have the link, you should be able to join it. Sumit.
Yes, ma'am. Could you please repeat?
I'm saying you can join the link directly. You do not need any, it's not password protected. It shouldn't be a problem for you to do that. Try again. If not, then probably something wrong with the network connection. You can check it.
Yes, ma'am. Completed the task.
Yeah, ma'am.
All right, let's look at the answers now then, if that's the case. You see, you could have your answers. I'm going to take a look at them, but I'm mostly going to also tell you about what should have gone into it, right? Rather than telling you what exactly. Okay, right away I have a subject line which is too lengthy, right? The second one I have at hand. Change in research seminar series schedule or spring 20. Do you really have to put all these or and what and options and all here? Remember, we are writing a subject line, so we have to keep it very short as possible. So first purpose
No,
should be
ma'am.
to identify,
I was
first thing should be to identify the purpose. What is the main purpose of the email? What is it trying to convey? It's trying to convey an updated schedule, right? The task is to tell the speakers, which means the sorry, not the speakers, the readers, that there is a change in the schedule, which means an earlier email has already. Yeah. The earlier, which means there was already an earlier email that was sent about this. Now you're only sending another one to clarify that there is an updated schedule. So that is the major information. Agree? Yes or no?
yes, ma'am.
Right. So that's the only thing that you require to communicate to the people, right? You do not have to tell them anything in detail about, the speaker or the series or anything. That has already happened. You're only telling them that now there's a change in the schedule. So that becomes the most important part, right? So all you write is updated schedule. Of what? Of course, that is important. So you write off spring, that is updated schedule, spring 2022 research seminar series regarding, right? That's all that you require to do with respect to the communication of the subject line. That's all your subject line requires to include, right? Because it's just to tell them that there's an updated schedule and what has been updated, right? Updated schedule for the spring research seminar is updated. That's all. Okay. That will be your that would be your subject line. Nothing else needs to go into that subject line because this is a follow-up email changing the schedule. So you don't have to put anything else, right? Now, how about the second one? Let me change the thing. So responses. The first one that is written is good enough. But you don't even have to write the join and all of those things, right? What is the main thing? It is not to join. Yeah, I think it's okay. The first one which says join the training cell speaker series, register by 23rd February is okay. All right. It's a good enough subject line. I think that works well. Alternatively, you could simply say invitation training cell speaker series, register by 23rd February. So you've used the deadline method, right? You're including it there without being forceful. Second one, deadline reminder is not very effective because you're not telling them the deadline, right? It's nice to include it, but it's also not bad. Also check for the use of exclamations. I told you very clearly to not use exclamations or any other symbolic things in your subject line in a professional email, right? So watch out for that. If you ask me what is it that I would write, I would simply write this one, right? Invitation training cell speaker series, register by February 23rd, 2022, which is mostly similar to the first one that I see as a response here. So good enough. Okay, let us move to the next one. We have number C, which is Google Form. Yeah, I was particularly interested in knowing what your answers are about this. Okay. Tell me what is the most important information in this one. Can you tell me what the purpose is? What is the purpose that this email is written for?
This is invitation for any program, ma'am.
Program? No, no, no. We are talking about C. Question number C.
1 minute. It's about any form which is asking for any record, placement record. The students of which is being placed.
So it's for placement record. Can you be a little more specific? What exact record are they asking for?
Graduating batch, the students which has been graduated batch of C17
Okay, that's right.
who
So
are
basically,
employed with
they're
the
asking
reputed firms in India.
in reputed firms in India. So the first two lines are not the one that defines your purpose, right? The third one, which says we would be grateful if you could share the details of the students from the previous batch who are employed with reputed firms in India. This is the main purpose, right? They're asking for details of the batches, the previous batch with an employment, right? The
Yes,
ones who are
ma'am.
basically placed. That is the purpose of the email. Everything else that is written around it is additional details, which is not meant for us at this point, right? These are all additional things which the person, once they open the email, will read about. The main purpose is to get the details of the students who are employed from the previous batch. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. You can also
So
say
then,
that.
now let me look at the responses. Google Form place students from graduating batch. Okay, graduating batch of CE17 is not what they require. What do they require? They need details of the
Placed
previous batch.
students,
CE16 is
previous
what
batch.
they are looking for, not CE17. Okay.
Okay,
Contribution to
ma'am.
resume bank? No, that is not the purpose, right? They are looking for details of the batch that has already graduated and also has a job. Two things: graduated as well as has an employment, right? So this was the thing, this is why you should read and write your email first before you write your subject line, right? So then a sample of how this one would look is there are several ways, but what I wrote is request for C16 student details, request for C16 student employment details, sorry, not details. Request for C16 student employment details regarding, or request regarding C16 student employment details. That's all you have to write in the subject line. Rest of the things, of course, are details which these people would do as in, how it should be done once they read the email. So Google form, consent form, all of those things are secondary. Main purpose, we need details of the employment of the C16 batch, right? The previous batch, that's all. So that is what you should have written in the subject line regarding, request regarding C16 student employment details. So, okay. Then, okay, last one. The last one was easy, but also little confusing. Let's see, requirement of new folders by 20th September. Both of them haven't mentioned the most important word that you should have mentioned. What is that word? Most important thing. The word audit, right? Why are you creating this folder? Because there's an audit. That is the most important thing. So folder creation is, of course, the second important detail. First important detail is that there is an audit, right? Audit and the date of the audit. And then what to do about that? Folder creation. So if you are writing the subject line, then these details need to be included. So first thing, audit on 20th September, or you simply mention audit 20th September 2019, folder creation regarding. Okay, audit on 20th September 2019, full stop, then folder creation regarding. Right, you can break it open, right? You can write it as two separate fragments also, that's also possible. Have you understood any question on that? Audit on 20th September 2019, full stop, folder creation regarding. Everything else is a detail. Everything else would be a part of the details, which people will definitely read through. So the urgency or the purpose why that person should open and read that email is basically this. Most important, there's an audit on 20th September. And what is the next important thing? Folder creation. Two things are mentioned. Now, the details of how, when, why, and the way in which it should be done, all of that will be a part of the body of the email, which eventually the person reads when they open and read the. Okay, any questions why we did that? Do you understand why we have chosen the subject line that I mentioned?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No confusions about that. So please be careful about this when you're writing subject line. Read the email and understand or make a note of what exactly is the purpose and what are the most important details that you need to add into that purpose, right? Only then craft your subject line. Okay. This particular question, this is very easy. I think the last class I showed you a slide, right, which had all of these commonly used verbs in emails. So just don't take more than 2 or 3 minutes. Just take 2 minutes. See through the questions and write your answers so that we can move on to the writing part. 2 minutes, just 2 minutes and finish it off. We'll go up to 6:15 today because I wanted to write at least one email. There are two in the question, but at least one I wanted to do here in the class. So up to 6:15, we'll extend it by some 15 minutes, this session, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I have submitted the answer.
Done. There are still somebody writing. I see 4 responses, but I only see. Okay. Yeah, someone has only begun writing. Okay, one more minute. Let them finish. Okay, let's see what the answers could be. I saw some of them. Let's see. Show responses. I need to alternate between two. Just give me a moment. Yeah, so I have dashed 5 emails this morning, but I have not sent them yet. Some of the answers include written. Someone has sent written. Okay, written, and sent is what I see here. So I have sent 5 emails this morning, but I have not sent them yet. No, do you think sent makes any sense here? If you write sent, I've sent 5 emails this morning, but I have not sent them yet. No. Written is a better suitable answer, right? I have written 5 emails this morning, but I have not sent them yet. That's correct. He dashed me to say that he could not find the file. He, yeah, again, there should be, someone writes sent, right? Second one is not answered. So he sent me to say that he could not find the file. No, that doesn't make sense. You could say he wrote to me to say that he could not find the file, right? He write to me, again, it is tense is off because you have could on the other end. So he wrote to me to say that he could not find the file, or you could also write he replied to me to say that he could not find the file. Okay, both answers are okay. I have dashed your emails, but I have not dashed to them yet. I have. What did you all write? Received.
Receive.
Okay. Received is fine. Received is fine. Yeah. I have received your emails, but I have not replied to them yet. Yeah. I have not. That's correct. But you can alternatively also write, I have read your emails, right? The read is not in the option. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So then I have replied. Sorry, I have. Which question we were at? Yeah. Third one, right? I have dashed your emails, but I have not replied to them. So I have received your emails, but I have not replied to them yet. Okay. I will dash the information to the secretary. This can have, I think, so you can either say, I will send the information to the secretary, right? Or you could also say, I will post the information to the secretary. So if you say post, it's a more informal way of doing it. I will send is supposedly the more formal version than post. Okay. When you say keep me posted, this is more of a conversational language than, a professional or formal one. Then comes the next one. I dashed the letter a day ago. Again, multiple answers. I wrote the letter a day ago. I posted the letter a day ago. I received the letter a day ago. I sent the letter a day ago. Right. I replied to the letter a day ago. Multiple answers. I got the letter a day ago. Okay. I think most of them will fit that blank. Whatever you've written, if it is displaying, accurate tense form, then it should be fine. Sixth one, there is no need to dash this mail. There is no need to send this mail, write this mail, reply to this mail, post this mail. Okay, any of these answers should be fine there. And then the last one, I dash this email from the manager. What would be the answer?
Get.
I got, not get, because look at the tense frame, no? I got the email or I received the email, right? I got this email from the manager. I received this email from the manager again. Same thing, but received is more formal, of course,
Ma'am,
right? Yes.
ma'am, can we use forwarded?
Can we use?
Forwarded.
You can use, but then that's not here in the option. That's all. It's not wrong. You can write, I forwarded this email from the manager, but we don't have that word in the brackets here. That's all. It's right. It's not wrong.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
Sure. Okay, now we move on to this one. I want you to quickly read through it and tell me what are the problems with this email. Okay, read it. Try to think about everything that we have discussed with respect to email writing. everything about the structure, the format, right? Is it following the proper structure? What about the language, right? I want you to read through and tell me what are the problems that you've identified. Just list them down as you read it. Maybe, give me at least four. Okay. Each of you can write four that you can recognize. And then I'll talk about it in detail. Okay. What do you see in this one? What are the problems? There are a bunch of problems with this. Is the structure in place? What do you think about it? Do you think the structure is in place? Is there a problem with the structure? Yeah, can you hear me or not? People in the call? If you
Yes,
can hear,
ma'am, I'm
please
hearing.
have the courtesy to respond. What
Yes,
What is
ma'am,
the
hearing.
problem?
Hearing well.
What do you think about the format? Is it in place? Is the structure of the email followed well? It does not, right? So it doesn't have a proper subject line. The subject line is too vague. It says upcoming project. Which project? There's no information on that, right? Salutation, again, not formal enough for the questions it concerns with, right? It looks like there's a serious issue at hand, but then it is not, the salutation doesn't reflect that this is something that is sent forth for an important update or something, right? So not formal enough for the situation at hand. So there's a problem with that. Yes, language is very informal. You're right. For a business email, it's not formal enough. It looks very, the tone is very casual and personal, right? It does not convey the sense of importance that an email of this stature should have, right? It sounds like a very, very casual discussion between two colleagues on something that's not very important. So the language is mostly off, very casual in nature. If I have to pinpoint on important problems here, I'll begin with talking about the use of the contractive forms, right? Look at there are multiple places where you'll see where contractive forms are used. So first time in the third line, B apostrophe RE. And I told you while we were discussing, formal emails have to be, they have to take expanded forms, not allowed to use contractive forms here. And as you move forward in the email, as you further read the email, you'll see there are several places where this problem has come up, right? You are, I am, we are, she's, it's, we are, right? This kind of utilization of language is not allowed in formal emails. So beginning with that, there is a problem on with the language. Second thing is, of course, unnecessary detail, too much clutter, irrelevant details, right? Project is really important for the company. Make sure we're on the same page. Should probably have another. So the person is not sure. I was thinking that we should probably have another meeting to go over some of the details. Too many unnecessary words, right? The requirement is to keep it concise. Something that should have been conveyed in just 3 odd lines has been written as a full length paragraph, right? 3 different paragraphs. So, of course, lengthy, tone is very personal, repetitive details. Too many times the same information has been repeated without giving concrete details. There's vagueness. Particularly if you look at the third paragraph there, she's still waiting, second line, she's still waiting on some budget information. Some budget information, too vague, right? Too vague. Some budget information from the marketing team. Then I am not sure if you're aware of this. Again, unnecessary details plus lack of clarity. Then words like anyway, right? Anyway, let me know what you think. Too casual again for representation. Okay. Yeah, use of words like so, but so is an important connector. It becomes problematic if you're using it way too often without actually giving the reason. People use the word so too often actually without actually giving the reason. That is when it becomes problematic. The word by itself is not a problem. Okay. You're using too many so's without actually making it an instance to give reason, because so is usually used to give reason, right? To give you a cause effect relation. If you're not achieving that purpose and simply using so whenever you need it, then it's a problem. Otherwise, by itself, it's not a problem. Okay. Uh, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, words like anyway, again, very casual. You cannot write something like that in a professional email. It cannot be anyway. You have to keep it more concrete, right? Then towards the end of the email, again, no formal closure, right? No closing remarks are given properly. No formal closing remarks. No complimentary close. No signatures. Nothing, right? So you do not know in what capacity is this person even asking you to, come for another meeting, right? All of those. So structure is a problem. Language is a problem, and this is basically a good example of how to not write a professional email. Okay. That's the whole point. Okay, now we are moving on to the email writing exercise, and we're going to close for today with this. You have a scenario. Actually, I have two questions for you, but I don't think we'll do both the questions. At least if one question we are able to do, it should be fine for us. I'll show you both the questions. Just let me know which one you wish to write. I would prefer you to write the first one because it gives you some space to add some details to your email. The second one is a very plain one, right? Inviting colleagues to a team building event, right? This is very commonplace. We'll not do this one. Let's do the first one. So scenario, there's been a change in company policy or procedures that employees need to be informed about. Email content clearly explain the policy change, and the policy could be anything, okay, that you can choose. Just to give you some suggestions, let's say you are changing the clock in, clock out time, okay? Say you are making it from 8 to 4 instead of 9 to 5, okay? Or say you are planning to change the lunch time in the company. Okay, something regarding that. I wanted to say uniforms, but then I am reminded uniforms are not a thing in the companies anymore. Anything, something along that. Like you can choose the policy change, whatever it could be regarding, any policy that you wish to. I just gave you examples. You can choose whatever you want. So clearly explain the policy change, outline any actions employees need to take, address potential concerns, and provide contact information for further questions. Okay, so all these details need to be available in your email. Okay, structure, of course, you know how to do that. Take 10 minutes to do that. I think that should be more than enough. Ask me if you have any confusions. If there's any part of the question that you've not understood, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, take another 10 minutes and write this. Okay. Another clue, if you're still wondering what you should write about, maybe you can also, since this is the post-COVID time, say the company has revised its guidelines for working remotely. Okay. You can maybe use that also as an example if the clock in, clock out time thing doesn't work for you. Cover all of them, clearly explain what the explain also means. You need to be clear about. Explain doesn't mean, write 4 5 lines about it. Explain simply means be clear, right? What exactly the policy changes. Outline again, though the word suggests that you're supposed to write more, outline simply means mention if any actions need to be performed at the end of the employees. Then address potential concerns, contact information for further questions. Okay. Do not go in detail about anything. One sentence each is enough. So when you say change in company policies, your subject line ideally should mention what that changes, right? That is also important. And it's not an urgent thing. It's basically an update, right? You're giving an update to the employees. So write it accordingly. Your subject line should also reflect properly. And please follow the format of an email, right? Do not just write the subject line and this thing. Everything else that you would, you would have in an email, right? Beginning with subject to, of course, the recipient and sender field we are not worried about right now, but everything from subject to salutation to the body to the complimentary close to signature, everything. Even if you do not have anything to fill in, at least leave the skeletal details, right? Like your name in brackets, your name and followed by designation, followed by address, so that at least I know that you know. Official lunch break hours. Okay. This is to inform you that there has been an update regarding the office lunch timings effective immediately. Can we say effective immediately? Can we change it to a date so that people know effective immediately? Immediately is also not a very, sorry. Effective immediately is not something that tells you exactly what it is, right? Because it's a change in the policy, it's always nice that you mention the date or the day from which you begin to do this. Okay. To the HR department. So how will they mail you? You have to leave some contact detail, right? Please forward any questions or concerns to uh, the HR at, and then the email ID, or if there's a contact number, then that, or if there's an extension number that they can reach you at, then that. Be specific, right? Formal email. Be more specific. It's an important thing. There's a policy change. So don't leave any details vague. Such schedule adjustment can require some adaptation, and we're happy to address any concerns or complaints. Yes, that is good enough. So please forward your queries or questions to the HR manager or your manager at so and so. Okay. Works. Thank you for your understanding. Better would be thank you for understanding or thank you for your cooperation. Works better. Best regards. The management is again a little off, right? You need to give more details. Who is the person in charge? It's not the whole management who's in charge. There's somebody who's in charge for this. So the name of that person, designation of that person, and the other important thing. Signature is by default. Remember, whatever mail you send, the signature goes by default. Okay. Otherwise, this is a so regarding the dates, right? November 1st. What is the format of writing dates in an official email? Date, day, year. Okay. So first, you don't have to write ST 1 November 2025. Okay. That's the actual format to that. Effective with effective from, you can change it to that. Somebody who wrote salutation for salutation, no, that's not what it means. You have to actually supply salutation, dear or whatever, right? That needs to follow. You simply don't write salutation and leave it. Dear team, okay? Mhm. Dear employees. Yeah, this one this one also has a problem. Actions for policy change. No. But ideally, right? Update on company policy. Lunch timings regarding. Okay, so what is it? What exactly is the policy change? This is the last one here. Actions for policy change. Dear employees, it's be a little warm. They're not just dear employees; they're also team members. So, dear team members or dear members of the team or dear all also works, but not dear employees. Okay, we are not. Uh, we try and be at least uh, socialistic in our approach of communication, even if your actual practices are not right. So, no strict hierarchies. Dear members of the team or dear team members, dear all, that also works. From considering whether no, the last one requires a good number of working. Even I do not understand what exactly you're trying to convey. I'll wait until you finish it. Ron Weasley, head of HR, 123 company. Yeah, the second one is a far better version now. Okay, it looks good for the purpose. First one, XYZ designation, and what happened to the rest. This is to inform you that there is a change in office hours in the uh, company. So this is what I was telling you yesterday. Take cues from the questions that you have. So if the question mentions a policy change, then try to adopt that thing into your answer also. This is to inform you that there is a change. This is to inform you that there is a policy change regarding office hours in the company, right? That is the most important word there. It's a policy change. It's not a random change. So use that word that you have in the question. Take cues from the question. Don't miss out on it. The new timings are from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. This will be effective from 3rd. We expect that every employees will obey sincerely. Not necessary. But then you are not asking anything else, right? The question also asks you to invite concerns and questions if they have any, right? And actions that they're okay, actions are fine. I think you already mentioned, but address potential concerns and provide contact information. Where did this go missing? Okay, address everything that's there in the question. This is where, if it is for an exam, you lose marks, right? So the first question, that last two part is missing, please include that. In addition to that, regards XYZ designation, name of the company, right? Contact, these two things are missing there. Second one is now well written. You have made the changes, looks good to me. Third one, I do not know. I think the person has stopped working on that. There are person still writing. Okay. That one requires a lot of work, starting with punctuation errors, begin with a capital letter, everything else. Okay. So, I think that's good enough. So this page would remain open for you to work uh, even after the session is closed, maybe for the next Monday. So what you can do is you can work on the second question too. Okay. So I'm not going to close that page. I'll keep it open so that you can practice the other one as well. This time, keep in mind, follow everything that's given. If the content asks you 4 things, please address all the 4. Do not just answer the first 2. Understand the scenario well. Okay. The next one is an easy one. That's a common place email. So it's not as difficult as the first one. I asked you to work on the first one because there were people who were asking about how do I build content into it. So contents are built partially based on your understanding, your general understanding of affairs, and also there are good enough clues that you get from the question itself to build your content. Right? Usually, you're not required to go beyond anything that is given. Every premise must be added based on what the question asks you to address, plus your general understanding of the issue at hand. Right? That is more than enough. Email is a very short format professional write up. So don't overthink. It's not like a report. You don't have to give any full-fledged study or anything. It's usually mostly a medium to just convey information, right? So keep it within the limits of the information. All right. Okay. I think we are good to go for today. So I hope the 2 days for people who have attended for both the days, at least this was useful for you. We'll come back again for the second part of the workshop on report writing. The dates would be announced to you soon. Please watch that space for your participation. And for today, I think it's time that we close the session, right? We've already overshot by half an hour. I don't mind, but if there were people who had to face some inconvenience because we extended, I'm sorry about that. But writing practice is important. This workshops are meant for that. So sometimes we have to go a little beyond the scheduled time period so that we ensure full participation. We fulfill the purpose of the workshop. Okay. So thank you for joining in. I'll meet you again for the report writing session. Dates would be announced shortly. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Halima, for your message. See you again, everyone. Thank you.